Well, howdy guys, and welcome back to the channel. It is dark 30 this morning. We're getting ready to head out on an early morning surveillance. Just wanted to be able to shoot a quick video and include you in this surveillance. I want to go through my checklist really quick, my pre-flight checklist for surveillance, if you will. I have my cover sheet. This is going to be an interesting case to be sure. We have our primary camera, we have our backup camera. I have two covert cameras, and I'll show you those cameras a little later too. We've got our food for the day, we've got our water, we've got our coffee for the morning, and of course a jacket on. We're going to probably need that today, and a ball cap that we'll be wearing. Sunglasses. I have my DC to AC converter to keep everything charged up, plus tripods and different things like that. So it looks like we are ready to get going. So I am all filled up and I'm ready to go. So I will get back. I'll try to lighten this up a little bit in post when I do the editing of the video. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to figure out how to do that and maintain quality. Anyway, we are heading out on an early morning surveillance, and this is more typical of what a lot of our surveillance jobs are. We have to be out at 6 a.m. It is a little before 5 o'clock right now. We've got a little over an hour drive to our destination. A little bit about the case that we are working. This is a typical workers' compensation claim case. It has been worked multiple times in the past. That's one of the interesting things about it. It's been worked by a couple of other investigators. I am actually going to be the third guy out on this case today. Not three of us working all at once, mind you, but I will be the third investigator to have worked it. The subject has been quite active in the past. He's been followed to medical appointments, grocery stores, pizza parlors, all kinds of other places, gas stations, and even followed down the interstate at one time for a considerable amount of time during a snowstorm when the investigator lost visual contact with him. So we do anticipate that we're going to have quite a bit of activity, and I'm going to try to keep you informed when there is activity and keep the video rolling whenever possible. But we have about an hour to go before we're there on scene, and it's really dark. So I will get back with you when we are on scene, and once it's light enough, I'll go over some of my equipment that I have with me, if that's possible. I do have my primary camera that I've talked about quite a bit, and there's a link down below if you want to check it out. There's a link to all of the gear that I carry with me. I have a couple of covert cameras with me. I have the Lawmate iPhone 6 case camera with me that has an iPhone 6 in it. I also have the Lawmate key fob covert camera with me as well. I often try to carry a couple. And I have my backup camera. I have tripods. I have my battery backup unit and my blackouts and all of that stuff. So when I get on scene, I will get back to you and I'll let you know what is going on. Okay, folks, well, we are on scene here, and it has been a bit interesting. The location for our setup here is a very large apartment complex. I would venture to say there's a couple of thousand doors in this apartment complex. Close to 100 different buildings, and we had to find the particular building. So that was first. We had to find the building, so then we knew the location of where the subject's vehicle might be, and then I did find the subject's vehicle. So I am parked directly in front of the building that I am supposed to be watching. His car is off to my left. I can't see his car, but I can see the primary exit that he would probably use of the building to get to his car. So we are all set up. I'm hoping that we're going to have a lot of activity. We've had a lot of activity on this case before. Two other investigators have worked it before, and there was a considerable amount of activity for both of those investigators. He went to the grocery store, went to a pizza shop, he went to a gas station, and some other things. He was captured on video doing a lot of different things, walking, entering his car, carrying things, picking up things in the grocery store and stuff. So we do anticipate that we will have a good deal of activity here. There's a lot of activity around the neighborhood, so I have to kind of keep an eye out, make sure nobody's taking too much notice of me while I'm sitting here. So when things start to happen, I will let you know. Folks, and welcome to daylight. The sun has finally started to peek out a little bit. We do have some clouds coming in. It is supposed to be cloudy today. Slight chance of moisture, but high winds coming in. I actually like when we have some inclement weather when I'm on surveillance, because that becomes a distraction. Not necessarily a distraction for me. I mean, it can be, but it's more of a distraction for the subject. If they walk out and it's snowing or it's raining or there's 30-mile-an-hour winds, they are, of course, going to be worried about those elements and getting to their vehicle or going to wherever they're going to go. So that is one of the things that I will have to overcome in the challenges today, is the weather. But again, I do like it because it does provide for a good distraction. The clouds are nice too. It is about it's like mid-20s out here right now, so it is kind of cold outside. I did have to go walking around looking for this building, so I know that it's plenty cold out there, but it's not too bad sitting here in my car. And even if it's in the 20s, the 30s, the 40s, I think the highs are supposed to be in the low 40s today. If that sun is shining up there, it's going to turn this car into an oven. It will get at 40 degrees outside with full sun. It will get to be in the mid to upper 90s, if not low 100s inside of a car if you're sitting there. You have to keep that in mind when you're out on surveillance. So having the clouds actually help it keep it a little bit cooler. It also helps give me a little more cover. It's kind of hard to tell in the camera, I know. When you look at the windows over here, they are very bright, but they are very darkly tinted. That's just the light that you're seeing coming in. I know from walking around looking at things earlier that you can't see inside my vehicle, and I always usually try to double check if I'm capable of doing that without exposing myself to all of the people around. I have to go out on foot surveillance and locate the building. They do have numbers on the building, but they're very, very difficult to read driving around. I could only see a couple of them. So I had to go around and look for it. There are about 100 buildings in here, and I'm not going to give the exact building number, but let's say I was looking for building number 21. I could find 19, 20, but no 21. I could find 23, 24. So it was kind of tucked into a corner and not where you would logically expect it to be. But finding the building is a whole lot easier in one of these complexes than finding the vehicle many times. You could drive around and drive around. I drove past his vehicle multiple times and had not noticed it because I wasn't looking for it right where it was parked, because I was looking for the building. But once I found the building, then I was able to figure out, well, these are the places people would logically park if you're in that building. And then I found his car right away. So again, I'm watching the building right over there, kind of in front of me and to my 10 o'clock. His car is directly over to my left, about 4 or 5 parking spaces. I can't see it, but if he leaves, the only way he can go is that way to get out. He might be able to go all the way around, but I don't even believe he can do that. I believe this is the exit. I think there's multiple exits in here, but each one has its own little section, if you will. There's a shopping district not too far from here where he's been known to go to the grocery store and gas station and places like that. I scoped that out when I got here too. I always try to get to these a little bit earlier so I can check everything out, know where I'm going and stuff. If I can, I will go out the day before or another day during the daytime and check things out. But I wasn't anywhere close to being in this area of the metro area in the last few days, so I wasn't able to go out. So this case, as I had said, it is a workers' comp case. The claimant has a lot of different claimed injuries, and he's only able to work limited capability. As far as I know, he hasn't been working at all, but it does list him as light work only. I think that's just a limitation if he's going to go out and look for work. He is able to drive. We do have a vehicle that is registered to him. I do have photos of him. I have photos of his girlfriend. And a nice thing is, because he was worked by 2 other investigators before, I have photos of him recently, and he dresses uniquely, and I'll leave it at that. But by his dress, I should be able to identify him fairly easily once I see him, the way he normally dresses and his mannerisms and how he walks and things like that. Noted in the notes from the other investigators, one of the things that he tends to do a lot is whenever he gets into his car, it takes him a couple minutes before he leaves. It is time for me to get one of my time shots. This is one of those things that I have to do periodically. Every hour I get what is called a time shot, or an integrity shot, for the client, which shows that I'm here. Not all clients require that, but a lot of them do. This is an insurance job. The company does require time shots, but when I take on a private client, I tee them the time shots, but I do require my investigators to obtain time shots while they're out in the field. And that is more of a just in case the client comes back and says, you know, I don't know if you were really there. Can you prove you were really there? What happened at this time? You know, different things like that. That's what they're really for. And a lot of people call them integrity shots, just to show your integrity that you were there. Now, that's not to say you can't go into your camera and change the time. I could easily do that. But you can usually tell with shadows and clouds and different things like that. Generally, the time shots, what the client wants to have is a shot of the residence, a shot of the vehicle, a shot of the surrounding area, so they can get a more holistic look at everything there. And that's my camera. I have it plugged in to my DC to AC converter here. So I have it like that, so I can leave this open all the time and it's on all the time. So all I have to do is pull it up very quick, hit the record button, and I am good to go. I don't have any wait time. On this particular camera, there is a slight delay from flipping it open until you can actually start recording on it. So having it plugged in all the time, I don't have any kind of delay like that whatsoever. Equipment I have, of course, I have my trusty, my iPhone 6 with the Lawmate battery pack looking case for it, but it's actually a spy cam. The camera's right there, so smile, you are on surveillance. So I can flip the buttons here. There's 3 different buttons on the back. One of them is for power, one of them is to turn the Wi-Fi on, because the phone actually connects to it through Wi-Fi. Once you turn it on, it automatically starts recording. You don't have to have a phone in here for it to work. It stores all of the video internally, but having the phone on here, I can control it, I can stop it, I can pause it, different things like that. And then one of the other buttons on there is for motion detection, so I can set it up with motion detection, set it on a table, or set it up on my dash or something like that. When somebody walks by, then of course it starts recording. I also have this one here, and this is a Lawmate key fob camera, very similar to that one. This one is Wi-Fi as well. Of course, it doesn't have a phone on the back of it, but it has the Wi-Fi capability, so I can use my regular phone or even use the iPhone and connect to this and then control it, so I can do the exact same thing. So the camera here is right there, and I have all of my equipment listed up on the PI Guy official web page, freeprivateinvestigatortraining.com, and I have a link down below if you want to look at any of that equipment. Well, folks, we are on the road. My subject is active, and we are on the freeway. He's actually getting a few cars ahead of me here, so I have to pay close attention. So he just left a little bit ago. It did appear like he was by himself. I was able to gain a little bit of video of him as he walked towards his vehicle, and now he is speeding down the highway. I have him about 3 cars in front of me, which is a safe distance. We're in the far left lane, so we're in the high-speed lane, if you will. We're hitting 60 75. I don't normally speed when I'm following somebody, but in situations like this where it's kind of the natural flow of traffic, then that's kind of the way I go with it. I just go with the flow. And I can see traffic slowing down up here. So I will give you an update as soon as I figure out where he's going, okay? Hey folks, just wanted to give you another quick update. We're still on the freeway and we're going, but I'm going over 80 and he's pulling away from me. And he is in with a bunch of other cars going about that speed. So that's a little too fast for me. I always recommend to err on the side of caution. So he's probably a good quarter of a mile ahead of me, but every time we crest a hill, I can see him. So I'm fairly confident I'll be able to see him when we get close to any exits that he may take. I'll know that that's happening. So just want to let you know it is kind of crazy out here. I am going still pretty fast and he's still pulling away from me, him and several other cars up there. So I'll give you another update in a little bit. Okay folks, well that was one wild ride. My subject was literally going well over 80 miles an hour in a 65. We drove clear to the opposite corner of town, about 30-40 miles away from his residence. I'm in the Denver metro area here. He is inside an office building, not sure what he's doing, but I'm going to go on foot surveillance here and I'm going to go see if I can figure out what's going on. Well, okay folks, I went in there, went on foot surveillance, walked around the parking lot, checked out the signs on all the doors in there. I did not see my subject. There's a lot of different offices. I can see all the names over there. I got a screenshot of it with my camera. That's always something good to do. I'm going to go ahead and get another one too. But that's going to list all of the offices that are in there. There's attorneys and there's just all kinds of professional offices. So who knows, maybe he's talking with an attorney or something, but I'll keep you posted. Okay folks, well my subject has exited. I got a lot more video of him and we are back on the road and we're going to see how fast we are going to be driving this time. He's already gotten a little ways away from me, but I am confident that I can stick with him. After you do this for a while, kind of just grow those confidence levels. You have to keep track of everything around here. Not sure where he's going. I do in my GPS have his home plugged in to my GPS unit. So if he goes back to the residence, of course, I've got a quick way to get there. A lot of times if I think they're going to their residence, I won't necessarily stick really close to them. Once I get to a certain distance, get to a certain proximity within the residence, then I might back off a little bit and let them go so I'm not, right on their tail the entire time. Or I may go ahead of them if they drive really slow. This guy's not that case, but I might go ahead of them and get set up ahead of time. So I see him, he's right up there, he's about a half a block in front of me. So I will keep you updated as to what's going on. Okay, I just thought I'd give you a really quick update. I had let a car get between us and then, and this was a difficult decision to make, but the light turned red and the car in front of me stopped, which is kind of unusual. Most people just go through. So he got through and I am stuck at a light. He got through the next light too, but I did see him. He's up in the next turn lane at the next light and he's taking a left. So just something to keep in mind when you're out here. I figured he was probably going back towards his residence, so I knew he was going to be going left up here at some point. So I didn't want to get over in the right-hand lane, otherwise I could have lost him when he turned. But now I'm actually a couple blocks behind him, thanks to the car in front of me. So it's just something that you have to keep in mind, and it does happen. And when it happens, well, you know what? You just have to kind of live with it and you go on. So I'll let you know what's going on here in a little bit. Okay folks, well the chase is definitely on. We are on the freeway. He is a little ways ahead of me. I was able to catch up to him. Knowing where the spots are that are going to slow people down, knowing where the bottlenecks are in the highways in the city that you're driving is very important. If you know that, I don't have to go so crazy when he gets ahead of me. because I know eventually I'm going to probably catch up to him at a certain interchange or a certain intersection, because there's always a slowdown. So I was able to do that, but here we are, we're going 80 again in a 65, and there's a whole lot of cars doing this, so I'm not worried about myself getting pulled over or getting in an accident or anything like that. I'm hands-free with the phone. I know I should have those on the steering wheel, but it is getting a little bit exciting. He's heading, right now it appears like he's heading into downtown Denver or back to his residence, so I will keep you updated as we progress. Well folks, we're back at the residence. Let's see what happens now. Didn't know if I was going to be able to get the recording started or not for this, but I did. So let's see what we find. His car is parked pretty close to the same place it was before, which is good. He has really dark tinted windows, illegally tinted windows, I might add. So I can't tell if anybody's inside or not. But it did not appear like there was anybody, even in really dark tinted windows. I was coming from the north looking at him, so I could see fairly well in there, and I did not see him in there. So we're going to set up on a stationary position, and we are going to see what occurs. Okay folks, well I am set up on my stationary position. I am not set up at the residence per se. I am in the apartment complex. However, there was no place for me to conveniently sit and watch without being made inside the complex itself. I think I mentioned this is a very large apartment complex. I would say there's around 50 to 100 buildings in here. I don't know the exact number, but there's a lot. There's 1,000 to 2,000 doors. It is a gated community as well. However, the gates are open all the time. I have worked this many times. In fact, I had a criminal case not too long ago where I had to come in here at night and do lots of interviews with potential witnesses and stuff to that case. And in fact, with that one, I brought a security detail with me when I did that. It's not in the best neighborhoods in Denver. And when I pulled in to look for a place, I noticed a couple of gentlemen that are just wandering around. Almost looks like they're wandering aimlessly, but you can tell they're looking with their eyes to the right and to the left, and they're looking at everything. And when I would make eye contact with them, of course they would quickly look away the other way. It appears as if they are lookouts for something, and I don't want to get involved in that. So the position I'm in right now is actually by the exit to the complex. I'm not too far away. I can go out on foot surveillance and get my time shots if I need to. With my covert camera, that's fine. And I am right where I can see and quickly get in the chase if the subject leaves the area. So this is where I'm going to sit for a little while, and we'll see how it goes, okay? Well, folks, we have had a little bit of activity. The subject did leave with his girlfriend. They ran over to a fast food place and got some food and have returned. Nothing major, but we did have a little more activity. And now I am back in the apartment complex. I was able to find a secure position. I believe it's secured, that I can see everything around me pretty much 360 degrees, and I can watch his building and his vehicle. So I will let you know if anything else happens. Well folks, this one is a wrap, as they say. No more activity, but it has been a good day. We got our full 8 hours of surveillance in. I'm very happy when I get a full 8 hours of surveillance. So why don't you go down in the comments below, let me know if you like these type of videos and if you would like me to continue doing them, and if there's some other type of video that you would like me to cover, let me know that as well. And don't forget, while you're down there, go ahead and hit that like and hit that subscribe button.